Psalms 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. HALALYAM YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM RAWCHAA QADASH MASHAYACH LAHAMALAAKIM WAZAQUANYAM SHAL RACHAB GADAL Shalom Barakyam Al Nawa Arawan Ratazal Nachnawa Haya Shal Habachayar Za'achawa Ibad Ariyah Mayan HaGMS Orlando Camp. And I want to go into a quick lesson. Something I stumbled upon, a brother that shares a lot of different things with me on social media, shared this article a while ago, and I only got into it recently. I only seen it recently, and it has some. I'm probably gonna make some other videos on some of the things that he shared with me, but this one in particular, it goes into what's called revelation of the method and predictive programming, and I think it goes into some other things, but I just want to focus on these two because this is how Esau works. It ties into his gradualism. Okay, it ties into his deception and his violence and how he uses lies, his words, to attack the people, mainly the elect. I don't want to mention that we're part of that number. But like the scriptures say, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, he cannot deceive the elect as hard as he tries. Okay, because this devil has some very convincing, very crafty. He's very crafty. He's a very cunning hunter. He lieth in wait, and they catch men. And our people participate in that as well. Those that are reigning like kings without us. Because they get paid, they're in a different tax bracket. They can have, different goodies, chains, whips, and so they side with Esau Edom, which is why you see a lot of this, right? A lot of this stuff, right? In plain sight, hidden in plain sight. That's another thing that they do is they, they basically put it in front of you, put it in your face in the music, pop culture, things that, we regularly consume, the bread and circus, in order to basically garner your consent. If people aren't actively going against it, denouncing it, boycotting it, which is the people can do that, then if you're not doing that, then you're consenting essentially. Okay? That's how they get the people to gradually conform to the what they're trying to make normal, what they're trying to normalize. Because this shit not normal. This shit is clearly demonic, clearly evil. All this devil imagery and all that, the one eye thing that they do, the hand symbols, all types of shit. They some of the biggest stars here in Babylon. Beyonce, Eminem, Doja Cat, all these people, Celine Dion. It's a bunch of demonic shit. So they basically put this in, and you've heard it before. It started. I remember in the early 2000s, maybe 2010s rather. All them video compilations coming out on YouTube going into this, and I was always like, yeah, man, it's clear. It's clear. How are people not caring? How are people just trying to say that, oh, it's creative freedom, it's art, like, are we But that shows you how stupid the people are. That shows you how brain dead the people are. They just go along with it, you know. But this been talked about. This been a so-called conspiracy theory, and people ignore it. You know, they don't. Well, you got niggas that want to, boycott Target. You got some people boycotting Target. That shit really don't last. You know, they still gonna go to Target, saying, "Oh, Target was racist," and people still eating Chick-fil-A. You can't resist that, chicken sandwich and them waffle fries, because they're Christian and they don't like gay people or whatever it is that Chick-fil-A did. You know, all this music, these streaming services that you're paying for, you niggas continue to listen to the music. You know, that's why, brother. You ever listen to brothers' music in the background? It's a bunch of instrumentals. And brothers don't really listen to music like that. We really listen to like instrumentals, harp, Native American flute music. And I got a bunch of. I love music, but there's a lot of music that I don't listen to no more. Because every now and then, not to be over righteous, every now and then you're gonna listen to something. Some rap, some hip hop, even some rock, maybe, whatever. But for the most part, that's not a regular thing, because it does put spirits on you. It does influence your mind. It does influence your mood. The scriptures say that. Music and wine, they affect your spirit greatly. So it's easy to be susceptible to certain things if you're not, if you don't keep your guard up. Hey, the social media, the videos that pop up on your feed, things that people are saying, the think pieces that people come up with, the different memes, things that they try to pass off as jokes. And it's really influencing you. It's validating some emotions or whatever, temporary feelings that make permanent consequences. So you have to keep your guard up. In this society, it's a bunch of drawn swords in the mouths of all these people, mainly Esau, Edom. So you can't just be out here with no awareness. You can't just mindlessly consume these things, okay? You have to always stay in the spirit. So just going into it, not a long lesson at all. Revelation of the Method Unveiled, or ROM, as it's often abbreviated, is an occult art wielded by the puppeteers behind the scenes of our society. It's mainly Amalek. That's another thing I mentioned in another lesson, but Amalek, not just music and movies, all right, sports, but sexuality and shamelessness in sexuality is a very big tool that Esau, Edom, especially Amalek, uses to destroy our minds. I'm talking about destroy, modesty, to destroy humility, to destroy chastity. They love sexual deviancy. If you ever notice them Seth Rogen ass movies, you got James and his brother Dave Franco, you got Seth Green. You look at I don't know if Seth MacFarlane is an Amalekite, but Family Guy, American Dad, and you got the Simpsons. Simpsons, not that much, but they're still tapped into. But specifically dealing with the sexual deviancy, that's a lot of these movies. A lot of movies coming out is on some weird shit. I mean, a lot. There's this one, basically, literally, it's just a movie about this old lady that gets some monster man made out of a weave basket or whatever come to life, and they just have sex, and that's it. I saw the trailer and I was like, that's it. This is what these people are pushing out now. Then you got another movie talking about it's literally all I saw was the title, and the poster literally said, "I just want your sex." And I'm like, what's up with all these sex movies coming out? You know, or The Handmaid is I'm hearing it's like 50 Shades of Grey. And then you had 50 Shades of Grey too. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it was based on a book. And you know, bitches love fucking books. They love their imagination running wild. They don't never rebuke demons in their mind. They can barely even admit they got demons influencing their mind. But then again, if you got demons, I mean, how are you even gonna? Well, yeah, because you know, brothers say it all the time. We be battling demons, you know, because we're susceptible to it in this flesh. We're susceptible to negative influence. So you gotta fight it. You gotta rebuke it in the name of YAHAWASHI. And our women don't do that. So they get into all these deviant, you know, Reddits and different subcultures, different hobbies, these weird books, and they just let their imaginations run wild. Instagram, social media, TikTok, all types of nastiness all over the internet. And they just let it rock. Which is why the Lord's going to have to destroy a lot of people, because your minds are corrupted. And you've been doing it for so long that it's just a part of you now. And that's the worst possible thing, is to let it be a part of you, for it to become so normalized that that's how you think now. So your mind is seared. It becomes seared with a hot iron. So when Yahawashi returns and he peers into you and sees that you are a completely corrupt, filthy demon, what can he do with you? Because now is the time where we're supposed to be purging our minds of these rudiments, the rudiments of this world, and be transformed by the renewing of our minds. You know, through the Spirit. You know, brothers not into the shit that they was into in the world no more. Brothers then been cleaned up. They don't engage in the same activities. And you few sincere akhwat, you got to do the same thing, especially y'all, because y'all very vulnerable to this shit. This world is a metropolis. It is meant to appeal to your senses. It's meant to please you, especially women, because they encourage women to live shamelessly, live in pleasure, do what you want to do, be happy. No, you need to make sacrifices for the sake of Yahawashi. If you truly love the Lord and you want to get right, sacrifice that pleasure and you know, really submit to the Heavenly Father. Really submit to your husband if you have one. Really submit to the order of the Lord and put off the pleasures, because it's going to pay off. You need to be set apart from the rest of this world. Because I'm telling you, like, our children, you know, and our women, y'all vulnerable. When all hell breaks loose and when all the amenities and the pleasures is gone, then what? You're going to suffer withdrawals. And you're going to be extremely vulnerable because you're used to things being a certain way, according to the illusions of Esau Edom society. And when reality sets in that that's not how it is, then you're through. Then you got dudes out here infested with demons from watching porn all the time. Bro, it literally got to be like 9 out of every 10 men watch porn profusely. It got to be like 9 or 8 out of 10 men. So you know what they have, what they call a porn brain rot. And they watch these movies, they into all these things. You know, they play these different weird games, watch these weird YouTube videos. When all hell breaks loose, what you think they about to do? They're going to engage in all their sick, twisted, dark fantasies that they've been wanting to engage in with no fear of the consequences. You know, there's a whole bunch of weird shit just waiting to let loose. And this ties into this. predictive programming and such, because having all these things normalized in a society, it creates an acceptance of the filth, an acceptance of these different transgressions. Then you wonder why a bitch could be getting stabbed on the fucking bus, and no one does anything. They just record. They pull out their phones and record, because that's the... Now, clout is what it's about. It's about clout. They don't pull out their phone to call 911. They pull out their phone to record so they can upload it and get views. They might not even be making no money off of it, but just the attention on social media talking about some shit that happened is addictive. There's an account of an actual woman getting actually sexually assaulted on a train, and niggas pulled out their phone and recorded. No one stood up and saved her. No one beat the dude up. No one called 911. No. Bitch is crying for help, getting ravished, and they pull out their phones and record. And they did nothing about it. That's all according to Esau Edom's plans, is to normalize transgressions, normalize Satanism, normalize all this corrupt behavior, corrupt communication. Now your kids are vulnerable to it. Now your kids can hop on YouTube Kids, even though it's YouTube Kids and it's supposed to be filtered. They're going to see all types of weird shit. Talking about, yacht, stick out your yacht and skibbity toilet and all this weird, funky sexual deviancy and demonic activity, talking about kill, kill, kill. A damn video of a Minecraft character chanting kill, kill, influencing children to cut themselves. And there was a documentary, about it. Some dude that, researched a group that basically gets in contact with children over, Snapchat and Roblox, especially Roblox, because kids be on that heavy, in order to get in contact with them and get them to do certain things on camera. Kill their pets, cut themselves, give their parents credit card information. It's real. This is really out here. Then them kids grow up traumatized. And they grow up thinking that this shit was normal, that it just happens to everybody. Kick, Messenger, getting groomed to share photos of themselves and inappropriate things like that. This is the world that we live in. This is what's going on. This is what Esau Edom is doing. And this is the society that he has created. These are the people that inhabit this society. Which is why we don't want nothing to do with this shit. And we're always, I don't give a shit how much of a prude, motherfuckers calling me a prude, calling me, vanilla or whatever, because I'm not trying to engage in, I'll be that. I don't give a fuck. You niggas is weirdos, man. We're not with that shit, bro. We're not. And we'll always call out heavy against the corruption, heavy against the sexual deviancy, heavy against the weirdo shit, heavy against the demonic shit, all at all times. We will never let it be normalized. Not over here. Hell no. Y'all weird as fuck and evil as fuck. The Lord's gonna destroy you. Period. That shit will never be normalized. It will always hold people accountable for that shit. Crying aloud and sparing not. Especially if you around us, our family, whatever, that's not flying. That's not cool. No. Like I said, not in an over-righteous manner where you just can't watch shit or play shit because everything is fucking corrupted. We know. But it comes to a certain point. You can't let it be influencing who you are. Brothers, we keep that in check. When we watch certain movies, listen to certain music, we keep that shit in check. But if it's to the point, where it's too much, it's too much. The problem is with you people, you don't know no limits. You don't know any shame. And brothers actively, honor shame. So let me just read this. It's the practice of revealing hidden truths and sinister agendas in plain sight, cloaked in symbolism and subtext, subliminal messages, right? It's the method by which they toy with our collective psyche, forcing us to co-create a future we never asked for. Through the magic of storytelling and media, they manipulate our perceptions, influencing our choices and bending our reality to their will. And the influence of predictive programming. The concept of ROM has a sibling in the form of predictive programming. This method serves to gently introduce and familiarize the public with future events or ideas, subtly shaping our perceptions and, more alarmingly, our acceptance of them. It's like a spell planted in our minds that not only steals our free will, which we don't have free will, but chew the meat and spit out the bones, but also leads us to co-create outcomes we wouldn't want. The media and entertainment industries are their chosen medium, weaving these spells into the narratives that we consume daily. And Esau does that with words. He does that with your algorithms. He does that with AI. He does that with everything, It influences your actions, all right? It influences you to, like we was just talking about, normalizing certain behaviors, certain thought patterns, not rebuking certain wicked thoughts, okay, not recognizing the shameful deeds, shameful thoughts, and keeping yourself in check, keeping your mind in check. That's what normalization is. That's what gradualism is. And that's how Esau operates. But we, Lord's will, we're part of that number. We stay on top of that shit. And we arm ourselves with the same mind as Yahawashi. We rebuke wicked thoughts constantly, because even the thought of foolishness is sin, like the scriptures say. We fast often, not just dry food and water fast, but fasting from alcohol, fasting from maybe music, fasting from games, fasting from different pleasures that could distract and influence us, right? And we get into the scriptures, we read daily, we pray every day, all right? We watch videos every day, so we stay in the spirit. We use the tools that the Lord bestowed upon us so that we could stay in the spirit. And so we don't get influenced by the rudiments of this world. We don't live according to the ways that these people live, okay? That's why it's important to stay in the spirit. And then it goes into the power of words as well. The words we choose, the stories that they tell, like zombies. Zombies is such a big, even now, well, less so now, but throughout the 2010s and such, and even before that, zombies was such a huge thing, a huge topic of entertainment. How is that not predictive programming? People talking about you got to prepare if a zombie apocalypse ever happens, blah, blah, blah. It completely transforms your mind, how you think. One thing my mom always told me growing up, listen, them movies is lights, camera, action. Ain't none of that shit real. Like, now there's real. Now you learn to balance it out. A lot of the shit that they show us is real. But she told me that so that it wouldn't influence how I think. It wouldn't influence my actions. Or get me to think that, oh, maybe I should start doing this. Or, oh, is that okay? Or maybe this is normal. Or, you know what I'm saying? To not take that shit seriously. We only take it as serious as, like we're going into in this video, that this is their, they have actual agendas, and they have goals in putting certain information out, in saying things certain ways. They're trying to influence the minds of people, and they've done it successfully, which is why I love to get into the Hebrew, because the Hebrew is a pure language. Meanwhile, English is spell casting, But going into just a couple of precepts. This is Isaiah 47:11. Well, I'll start at Psalm 64:1. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Again, this is why me personally, I'm very critical of media. I'm very critical of a lot of things that is out there, because that shit can ruin relationships. That shit can ruin friendships. That shit can ruin your relationships with your children, family. This social media shit is evil. Certain movies, certain things, you really don't got no business even engaging with it. If it don't got no edification that you can get out of it, if it's not, and your time is precious. You don't want to just waste your time just engaging in some shit that doesn't yield any fruit or has no purpose. So a lot of these shows I don't even watch. A lot of these movies I don't even bother with it unless I've been into that. Like I've been into Marvel, but even then with Marvel, it's a lot of spiritual lessons that you can get from it. It's a lot of nuggets. It's a lot of games I don't play no more. I'm mainly into, like, for example, Final Fantasy, because they always deal with theology. They always deal with different spiritual themes that's baked into the whole fabric of what that game series is. So I like that series a lot. But just running around shooting niggas in like Call of Duty, unless I'm playing with a brother or a friend or something, then it's fun, and really we're conversating the whole time. But those type of games, I don't even really be into it no more because it's kind of pointless, and it's not to say that brothers is wicked if they enjoy, Call of Duty and first-person shooters or whatever, because all of our time is better spent, with the truth, watching videos and such, studying. But every now and then it's cool to pass time and relieve some stress or whatever. You're not wicked for that. Like I said, you just have to find balance. Everything is about balance, but you have to make sure that you're on top of what you're consuming, what you're allowing into your mind, what you're spending your energy on. It's all about balance. But just to make that point, certain things you got to fast from, certain things you got to cut it out. And certain things, chew the meat, spit out the bones. You know what I mean? Because these niggas is evil. These devils are very evil, very crafty. And you find yourself, being influenced by ideas and you don't even realize it. So they accomplish a diligent search. So this is what they do. They're very dedicated to destroying our minds in a very subtle manner. In Isaiah 47:11, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame, referring to the thermonuclear missiles, the second death, the lake of fire. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Right, they're going to be utterly destroyed, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. Fire and brimstone, complete and utter destruction. All right. Now, all of this, of course, is leading to the predictive programming and the normalization of, taking and implementing the charagma in our society, the Neuralink, these different implantable chips. That's what all of this is leading to. Getting you to accept taking the charagma. We've been talking about it, and it's here. It's been here. And people will not take it seriously. They're still going to see it as no big deal because it's been normalized. It's been encouraged. It's been marketed as convenient, the future. Okay? And that's going to be your undoing. And you won't be able to repent from that if you take it. All right? I just had a dream. Someone I know. I literally just woke up from a dream this morning. Someone I know talking about they caught like a STD, and they were basically like they were given a chip. It was a microchip. They were literally holding a microchip. Now, it wasn't implanted in them, but they were holding a microchip, saying that the doctor told them if they use this or consume this or something like that with some food or whatever, it was almost like it was being used as a pill. Then it could heal them or something, regulate whatever hormones, And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, do you know what the fuck that is? Now, dreams are dreams. They're just dreams. However, it's something, every now and then you want to pay attention. And we know what it's leading to. We know what the charagma is. And we know certain of our people that we know and love, even, will end up taking that shit. And we got to prepare our minds for that. It's not going to be easy, because we will be as pilgrims on the earth. We're not going to be welcome members of society in that day. And some of us will be martyred, beheaded. So, hey, we gotta put off the weak nature, the mortal thoughts, the rudiments of this world, and be armed as good soldiers of YAHAWASHI, MASHAYACH, and be ready for all the trials and tribulations that's going to come as a result of, the wickedness of this society reaching its fullness in the people, in the government, everywhere and everything. But we have faith that the Lord will defend us and keep us from all the evil, So I just wanted to go into that. I don't want RAWCHAA was edifying. I went to a couple of different things, a bit all over the place, but Lord's will, it was still exhorting and uplifting through the Spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. The YAHAWAH and YAHWASHI, QADASH. Bestowed upon me to bring out the lesson and push forth this word. Keep pushing, keep praying, keep fasting, keep enduring, keep striving for the truth unto death, and YAHAWAH and YAHWASHI shall fight for thee, and keep abiding in the faith. Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, stay strong, almost home. Mashanak Abad Laha Mala Akim Wazakwanyam Shal Rachab Gadol, Shalom wa Barakiam Al Nawa, Adawan Rataza, Nachna wa Haya Shalabachayar, wa Barakiam, Kabad, Hawad wa Allah, La YAHAWAH wa YAHAWASHI, Thamyad wa La YAHALALYAM, Shalom.